think we are live. I've had a few technical difficulties, so let's see if this was successful. So I'm going to wait for some people to hop on here. We are going to be talking about why exercise isn't always the best choice when you are stressed. And there's so many different symptoms that may be popping up for you guys. So I wanted to just make sure that you knew the difference of when exercise is that great stress reliever and when it is really good for you, and when it could actually be causing some issues for you, when exercise is actually doing the opposite of what you were looking for. So we have some people that have hopped on. Write any questions that you do have in the comments as I'm going along, and I will answer them for you. But let's just dig into first some of the symptoms that you may have. So when you first started on the job, I'm going to assume that a lot of you were very athletic, really healthy, loved being active. And it's possible that over time on the job, at first it did relieve your stress. You could go in really agitated and you would come out of your workouts calm and happy, and it would set you up for, could be like a few shifts, it could be longer, it could be a block of shifts. It really did keep you going. But through time on the job, what starts happening is a couple of things, and you may experience all or some of these different orders for different people. So you may start experiencing where the next day or after the workout, your brain is a little foggier. You're struggling to think of things. You may be more exhausted trying to wake up. You may find that you're tired and wired and you can't sleep, even if your workout was earlier in the day. You may start getting short fused. You'll find that if you're working out, then the next day and the day after, you're not able to stay calm. You might start getting nagging injuries. There's many different signs that you have, and eventually it gets to the point where you can be so exhausted that you have no motivation and no drive. Hey, Drish. So there's all these different things that combine, and it gets to the point where your mind is at this point where you're thinking to yourself, okay, but I love working out. It gives me this relief. I love it. Like, this is what I crave. This is who I am. But your body and your brain are not allowing you to get there. There is no motivation. You're absolutely exhausted, or nagging injuries just keep happening. You may find as well that when you're in your workout, that you get into the gym and you have no strength. That is one that used to happen to me. I used to really overheat when I would go to the gym. And things like, let's just take a shoulder press, for instance, 5-pound dumbbells. When I was in my like big burnout stage, 5-pound dumbbells would feel like I was lifting 25s. It was exhausting. It was ridiculous. Sometimes just doing the movement would thoroughly exhaust me because my body just couldn't handle it. So why the heck is this happening to you guys? So when you are in a stress state for long periods of time, your body, every time it's stressed, it cannot tell the difference between rushing to be late for work, missing your alarm, just small things, right? Things like just checking an email and seeing that it's somebody that either you have a lot of emails or there's somebody that you don't want to be talking to. That is a stress that your body can't tell the difference between that and rushing to a 911, 999 call. So your body can't really tell the difference between these. And every time it has a stress, it also can't tell between an immediate stress and a long-term stress. Finances, worrying about finances, worrying about a relationship. Every time that you put on your uniform, as much as I know I talked to some of you where you love that adrenaline rush, you love your job, you're still putting yourself into a stress state because you have to prepare. That adrenaline rush is a stress hormone. And that adrenaline rush that you get when you're working out is the exact same as what happens to you when you're experiencing any stress. So in your jobs, most often people only talk about the mental stress. They only think that that is what's causing you issues. But your shift work, working at night, is physically stressing your body. Not being able to get to food for long periods of time when you're stuck on calls, that is a physical stress on your body, a nutritional stress. Then we also have administrative stresses. We have all kinds of different stresses, different things. Maybe if your colleagues are going through burnout and struggling with them, if they have short fuses, there's so many different stresses that are happening. Hey, Dave. And so with all of these stresses, it just really pushes your body. So as your career is going, if you don't know how to manage and support your system for that, then it starts getting taxed. And I like to think of it as having your stress in a bucket. So every time that any of these stresses go out, you have cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, all these different stress hormones are pushed out. And then your body has to clean them up. So they keep going out and cleaning up, out and cleaning up. And what happens over time is your brain sits there and it says, you know what? We need to slow down how much this is going out because we're cleaning it up so often. And so your brain actually starts decreasing how much of these stress hormones your body is going to elicit. So that's where some of you may find that on a call you're on, but after, when you're doing your reports, your brain is foggy. You can't think. It's because you don't even have enough of this adrenaline, cortisol, which is your energy hormone, and your stress hormone. You don't have enough energy or reserves to manage that. So when you're going to then go and push in a workout, you're doing the same thing. You're pushing stress hormones out into your body. And your brain is like, holy crap, I thought I just turned this down, but more is being sent out. Let's turn this down more. So when you do that workout, you might find that you're okay during the workout, but after is when your energy fades. You may find that your energy even starts fading during, because you're at that point too, where some of you may be at where even calls you're not on anymore. Where in calls you're struggling with your energy and your brain fog. And you might be seeing that mimicked in your workouts. You may also be finding that when you're doing these workouts that the injuries, all of these things are creeping in, and you get to the point where you end up depleting so much of this energy where your motivation and your drive is gone. And that is when you wake up, you are supposed to be at your highest of cortisol, your highest with that energy hormone. And when you're not, you're actually like so low, your body has no motivation and drive. So you may be somebody that knows and has lived the healthiest life ever. I mean, my background is 25 years as a nutrition and training coach. I lived sleep, like I breathed it. And I couldn't work out for 14 of those years. I thought I was like, I didn't tell my clients, I didn't tell anybody because I felt like a fraud, but I couldn't. And I was in gyms all the time. And I couldn't lift a weight because every time that I did, my body couldn't handle that extra physical stress. It couldn't handle the cortisol rush, the adrenaline rush that happened. So it's really, really important to understand what's happening in your body and understanding these cues. So if you are somebody who is working out, you may also find that depending on the shift, depending on where you're at, my husband here, they just switched shift schedules, but they were doing a block 7 day shifts, days off, 7 evening shifts, days off, 7 night shifts, days off. He found the night shifts wiped him out. Night shifts, he struggled to work out on. Night shifts on his days off after he struggled. Day shift, because of the waking up early, he was pretty exhausted that night. He wasn't able to get his workouts in on his block of shifts. This was all before he supported his stress system. But then he found it on his days off after days. He was fine. Evenings worked great for him. He could always work out on evening shift, and he could always work out after evenings. So it's really understanding what does your body need and adapting to it. So you may find your days off, you're good. You may find that certain shifts are okay. Those of you that are on 4 off, it's always the same. But you may find that the day portion of that is okay. But when you flip over to nights, it kills you. And the first day off, you can't. So it's really understanding what are the cues that your body's telling you. And you may be at the point where you can't on any shift. And just so you know, that is very common. People come to me at different stages, and it's really understanding what stage are you at and we don't want to keep taxing your stress system. We want to give it that support first, and so that your body can get to that point where your brain is not regulating your stress hormones anymore. And when you have that extra resiliency, that you can push. Because the goal is to get you guys to work out. You need it for your safety. You need to be doing your tactical workouts. You need to be pushing. You need to have things that you really enjoy and work for you that are your stress reliever. But if at this moment, working out is not for you, hopefully this explains to you why it's not working out for you. And to know that it's nothing wrong with you. It's your physical stress management system and it needs support. So I can't tell you what to do because everybody is different. There's certain steps that we need to go into to support your stress system to get you to that. There are some people where we can get them in 10 days, where their stress system is supported enough that they're back doing their workouts and they're not having any of these symptoms. We have other people that it could take them 2, 3, 4 months going through different steps and different protocols. So it's really important for you to understand that it's not really a one-stop solution. It depends on where your stress system is at on a resiliency level. And what other factors? Do you have sleep issues, tired and wired, waking mid-sleep? Do you have, how long has the motivation and drive been there? Short fuse, digestive issues. There's so many other physical stress symptoms, the brain fog, all of these things that are affecting you. So it really depends. The physical for most people, it does take us a couple of months to actually get them to that point where they're good, because there's a lot of other things we need to take care of first. The short fuse, get the motivation and drive, get the sleep. Once we get your sleep on track, things really start trickling in, and then you start getting that resiliency and everything to be able to work out. But understanding what the signs and symptoms are that your system is telling you that you're just too taxed at this moment to be working out. All right, so I hope that this was helpful for you. And one thing I actually wanted to throw in there as well is your equipment. So in Canada and the United States, I've polled you guys in anywhere between 25 and 40 pounds for officers. It could be 75 to 100 pounds for fire. EMS depends too. You guys are lifting and transporting people all the time. So you guys have equipment on that weighs a certain amount. If you're doing a 12-hour shift, that is like doing an endurance workout. And then if you add into that a foot pursuit, you add into that just rushing to a call. Rushing to a call is going to give you the same adrenaline rush as a CrossFit workout. Yes, you're not physically pushing your body, but the same stress hormones and everything were moved around in your body. So understanding that in a shift, you may have done an entire 12-hour endurance workout with CrossFit high intensity workouts thrown in between there. So really understanding what your shift was like and understanding what your body is able to do at that end of that day and where your shift is really important to know. So some of you, it really depends. Some people get to the point where they can only start on their days off getting those kick butt workouts in. But eventually you can get to where you're trained so that having all the equipment is not taxing your body as much when you're able to get yourself out of that stress system more frequently. So I hope that answers everything. I don't think anybody has any questions. Let me know in the comments, though, where you guys are at. If you do struggle with your workouts, how long has it been? I'd be curious to know, how long into the job did it happen? How long were you on a shift work schedule before you started to struggle with your workouts, before the nagging injuries or the motivation and drive kicked in, or the lack of kicked in? So let me know where that did hit with you, and how long it's been going on. Let me know that in the comments. And anybody has any questions, just let me know. And I am here to help. Take care.